Welcome back to the Machine Commons Consulting Podcast. Today, we're doing a bit of an artificial intelligence AI for business recap of our original series. With me is Dr. Steve Shepherd over in the UK from Combined Intelligence, our MCC consulting partner.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you again.
We've been delighted to bring you such a broad series about artificial intelligence. We've covered a range of things that will be relevant to the business in general. Regarding our partnership, we've come together to basically make it easier to apply specialist AI technologies to your company, irrespective of your size and irrespective of how far along your journey you actually are. So, Steve over in the UK represents the consulting arm of Machine Commons, the collective of 85 different businesses. The collective is a group of businesses, each with a huge variety of different specialisms and all over the world. We realized it was vital to have consulting support in each location.
I think just picking up on your point there, Alex, what we spend our time doing with our clients is helping them understand the potential of AI, getting going with a bit of a vision, a bit of a strategy, and as part of that, it's about the art of the possible. What is possible with AI? It is an advanced technology. How can it actually be applied to make a real difference within the business without so much complexity that you don't really achieve the business benefits you want at the end of it? And part of that is sort of recognizing that organizations need the skills and quite often the solutions that work for them. That's where really we think the collective comes in by bringing together 80 plus different AI specialist organizations. Within that collective, we're sure that we have the skill sets in terms of people with the knowledge of the right aspect of AI, the right type of application in various different industries, and then being able to connect that into solutions that have actually been constructed and delivered. Those solutions, they might need changing for the particular organization, but they're a lot further down the line towards the goal that business actually needs. So that's what we see, the real benefits of the collective, and what we're trying to do is sort of help every client to sort of get that understanding and really then get it connected to the right people that can help deliver the optimum solution for them.
We talk about AI hype. Many people have heard of AI and they're sort of understandably skeptical because three different times and across three different decades, I think the 70s, the 90s, and maybe the early 2000s, there have been these so-called AI winters, which is essentially when the bubble of enthusiasm in support of AI kind of collapsed in on itself. And we discuss why now is in fact the time to invest in AI, why the current enthusiasm is no bubble. A variety of different technological advances that have led us to a point today where employing artificial intelligence is not only possible for many organizations that aren't considering it, but in fact pretty easy. There are no hard lines to lay here. We're talking about employing software-based solutions to take advantage of existing infrastructure. We then move on to the future of work, which discusses the human beings, how once you start employing these systems, what that means for the staff and for the other people in who are affected by any kind of given initiative. We talk about AI for business, and this really comes down to the core value proposition of the Machine Commons collective, which is that we occupy this space between fully off-the-shelf, ready-to-go technology and fully customized solutions. There's this middle ground, a beautiful middle ground of semi-customized code, of huge libraries of potential capability of pre-trained machine learning models, which with a bit of engineering savviness, the right specialist, can be fully integrated into your business relatively effortlessly. Our most recent episode was on the Inspiration Workshop, which is something that Steve offers over in the UK and helps clients basically kickstart this entire journey with, you guessed it, a bit of inspiration.
Thanks, Alex. Just picking up on the inspiration workshop side of things. As I was talking about a minute ago, a lot of the challenge here is about knowing how AI can make a difference within a business, whether that's operationally in terms of how it runs its day-to-day operations, whether it's in how AI can add value or new capabilities into products that the business provides, How can we use AI to provide real insight to the business and how it's doing, how its customers are, and how we can actually grow the business through the addition of these new capabilities. And I think sort of just this is where we try to focus around inspiration. It's about knowing that and bridging that gap. And the workshop is what we believe is sort of that first step to help organisations just to start to see the breadth of possibility. And then, comes the strategy and the vision and so on to actually help realise that. But given they're free, we do sort of highly recommend people get in touch and see whether we can sort of help with that, initial step.
Where do we begin? I mean, let's begin with the most basic. What is AI? What is machine learning?
AI is our attempt to use technology to uh, imitate human intelligence. To be able to do all the many things that a human being can do, whether that's, recognizing things through vision, whether it's understanding, spoken word, whether it's actually being able to physically do something. We have a diverse capability set that is actually very complicated. Where we are at the moment is using AI in a lot of specialist different ways. And, we're trying to aim towards this goal of what's called general intelligence, where an AI capability can be applied to lots of different problems and lots of different solutions in the way a human mind can be. Machine learning as a part of AI, that's the specific area where we're actually using data to teach a AI model or algorithm to do one of these tasks, to do one of these applications by using what's gone before, what's happening now, perhaps, whether that's with labels or without labels, but actually to use learning in a similar way to human beings learn to actually achieve a goal.
Right. So it's about intelligence. It's about creating extra layers of intelligence on top of the human intelligences or the systemic intelligences, the business intelligences within an organization with software-based intelligences. Whether that's in the automations or the recognition or the writing, the reading, it seems to be these sorts of concepts around human-like intelligence. But it's also more than human-like intelligence, isn't it?
It is, ultimately, you know, humans are good at what humans do. But if you present a human with a billions of gigabytes of data, a human will look at that and go, "Well, I've got no chance of processing that volume of data." But if you use AI backed up with cloud-based computational resources that are now available to support the technology, it can process vast quantities of data. And what it can do is it can find patterns in that data. It can identify perhaps where there's anomalies. It can identify where there's trends, and it can pick those out, and it can then make predictions. Doing all of this at scale, at volume and at speed.
So, as a manager of an organization that doesn't necessarily work with AI directly, it sounds great to be able to recognize patterns, but how do I know what applies to my business? How do I understand what's worthwhile us investigating or investing in?
Well, a lot of that comes down to, rather than, I think, starting with the technology, it's starting with an understanding of the business and what value the technology would be able to bring to support that business. If it's, for example, a retail business, there are multiple different applications of AI that you might use within a retail business. A traditional bricks and mortar business might use AI to understand product placement and to optimize product placement based on the performance they're seeing across their multiple stores, perhaps. Um, and that's a specific application to add real value to try and increase sales of product. Equally, you might look at it and go, well, actually, I'm an online retailer. I want to understand a lot more about my customers. Um, if I can understand my customers more, perhaps I can increase the sales that I get through my existing customer base, or at least understand who I might target as extending my customer base. And using AI for those different purposes is a key starting point for anyone. I wouldn't recommend that an organization goes in and goes, well, I've got this bunch of data. Let's just chuck AI at it and let's see what we get at the end of it.
Mm.
Let's have a purpose. Where can we extract value out of that data for a particular business purpose? If we can identify where those are, then we can focus our application of tech, and get the real value out of it.
So, in order to start talking AI, you have to kind of stop talking AI and start talking business challenges. You have to start talking about how do we reduce customer churn, and then it's at that point that an AI consultant or a technology consultant more broadly might be able to point in the direction of a couple of AI solutions. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And I think, just bringing it back to the machine commons, the advantage we've got across the 80 plus organizations is the hundreds of different use cases and scenarios where AI has been applied. It's that potential, and it's understanding that potential and seeing what's been successful in certain domains, certain applications, and that potential, connecting it to where the business is and bridging that gap, which is obviously where we focus our time. And I think that's probably where the excitement here is the fact that it's not just now talking about machine learning, for example, or unsupervised learning as a technique within that and how that can be applied. It's talking about, there's a particular application for computer vision that's done, manufacturing quality assessment as an example, and that we can engage with a manufacturing organization and say, well, here's a bunch of examples that have worked within the wider manufacturing industry. These could be applied in your context. And it's that connection that I think we find exciting when we're engaging with our clients.
Yeah, crucially, here are a couple of examples that have worked. This sort of brings us back to the comment on hype. Are we in an AI winter? Well, read any McKinsey report, any BCG report about businesses that have or haven't adopted AI and how much revenue that's generated or how much cost that's saved. Ask any of our collective clients of the thousands of case studies that have already been delivered. This stuff already is working. There are competitions out there which are held all the time to solve real world challenges, which regularly make headlines for actually solving these challenges. And I have been absolutely blown away by the sheer variety of use cases. The use cases demonstrate the fact that this is not just hype. This is being actually delivered. And if you don't do this, then you're probably going to fall behind your competitors.
AI is a leading edge technology. Um, and I think that can scare off certain organisations
Mm.
and make them think that it's not for them. Particularly those who are perhaps in the SME community or mid-sized business, where they're looking at AI as a bit of a it's in the domain of the massive companies, the super large international companies that have their own platforms and so on, and perhaps they struggle to understand that how AI can make a difference in their context. Pre-built solutions that can be tweaked and tailored. Those models, those capabilities exist and can therefore be applied and add real value into how smaller businesses make a difference in what they're doing. Business is about making sure that it can differentiate itself from others. And that is some capabilities that AI is providing organizations now with the right level of investment for that organization and the right goals in terms of business value, that AI is in a position to do that now. And, start small, but then, set your vision and your strategy for the future.
So our focus is split between, I'd say, five verticals. How would you classify our coverage?
It's an interesting one. There's a lot of diversity across the range of industries. There is a certain amount of commonality in how AI can be applied. And because, we do have that breadth in the collective, almost irrespective of which sector a business might be in, we will have some knowledge within that collective, both from a skill set perspective and quite often from a proven solution perspective. Some of those things might be transferred from other sectors, some of them might be within sector. Our team are, a broad range of specialists within the AI sector who have worked across multiple different industries. So what we tend to do is we engage initially generically, then we try to bring in a specialist who's worked in that sector, who can understand the business, understand the capabilities of that organization, what they're delivering to their client base, for example, and then we connect that to the wider AI community that we represent, to really sort of shortcut how we get to the art of the possible within that business.
So AI is sort of this horizontal technology that can apply across almost every sector. The Machine Commons, of course, is a procurement body where we represent 85 different specialists. And the way that we support Steve best is by providing relevant case studies in response to specific business requirements. Our primary focus is to deliver a suite of AI capabilities which have been tried and tested, but require specific tweaking to your engineering environment. AI is a horizontal technology that applies to practically every business, no matter whether you're an accounting firm, a professional services firm, a legal firm, a manufacturing company, a marketing entity. There are ways of using data and predictive machine learning algorithms and approaches to solve problems, to increase revenues, to cut costs, to optimize processes, to automate functions, whatever it may be. Whether you're a regular business, a mum and dad business, a huge international organization, whether you're looking for off the shelf solutions or for fully customized solutions or for something in between, our collective has a huge variety of different proven use cases, which Steve and his team are very well capable of helping you navigate.
Yeah, we recognize that AI can be daunting, particularly for organisations that are just setting out, just getting going with understanding the potential for AI. That's why we recommend you sort of talk to us. Make use of our inspiration workshops. They're not a hard sell activity. They're very much a two-way interactive discussion around the potential of AI and how it can really add value to that organisation. So feel free to get in touch. If you're a UK-based organisation, we'd be more than happy to have a conversation, understand what the possibilities are, see if the workshop's right for you, and obviously then take you through the workshop and hopefully inspire you towards the future.
That's right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, everybody.